Patrick Tomlinson has posted almost 250,000 times on Twitter. 10,000 of those tweets contain these two words: enjoy prison.
Hold A to charge your laser.
My wife and I have been offering up free sausage and pepperoni that I had made in my basement out of the bodies of black children that I had kidnapped from the neighborhood.
First, let's go back to a better time. September 11th. It was 2018 and the world was largely unaware of Patrick Tomlinson. This is his debut. It was supposed to be another peaceful day of arguing with strangers online when Patrick said something utterly unforgivable. Hot take, I've never thought Norm MacDonald was funny, and was pretty sure all of my comedy friends who did were either nuts or screwing with me. For anyone else, this comment would have been inconsequential. You'd get bored, everyone else would get bored, and that'd be the end of it. But as it turns out, Patrick Tomlinson never got bored. Not once in his entire life. There's this idea of persistence hunting where humans use their superior endurance to run down prey until it finally collapses of exhaustion. This is how Patrick argues, and he is the apex predator of internet discourse. There are very few men online who feel this compulsion to respond to everything and have the endurance to also back it up. He also had a strange habit of calling other grown men child. And unlike most people on Twitter, he actually went outside to make even more, and he'd get too drunk at conventions, flood his gym's page with pictures of himself, run routines at comedy clubs.
Murder, yes. A group of crows is called a murder. Do you know what a group of white crows is called? Insufficient evidence to indict.
Even cheat in a marathon. Patrick's bizarre behavior on and offline immediately set him apart from the rabble online. Even 6 years later, he holds a grudge against Norm, stating, "Norm MacDonald should have apologized to me before he passed." Here is what Norm had to say.
Hey, this is Norm MacDonald here, and this is a message for all of Patrick's friends. I want you to stop picking on your friend Pat. After all, and I quote, his only crime was that he didn't find Norm MacDonald funny. Wait a minute here. I'm Norm MacDonald. Ha! And I am funny. Please continue insulting that fat loser.
Paired with his unlimited endurance, Patrick also has a unique way of arguing. Imagine you're on the internet and someone calls you fat. Do you A, ignore them, B, deny the weight allegations, C, admit you gained some weight, or D, inform them that you are not obese by any medical standard, accuse them of being the son of a federal judge, and inform them they will be enjoying prison? Now, if you said D, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you might be Patrick Tomlinson. Thanks to his guaranteed bombastic replies, he's built up a dedicated following of people who make fun of him online. Patrick believes that if he ever fails to respond to someone, they win. He also believes that compulsively responding to detractors is the only way to quote-unquote defeat them, whatever that means. I get it. I lived it. Your "don't feed the trolls" advice has made the harassment drag on for months longer than necessary. Only once I turned my attention to them were they defeated, tens of thousands of them. This is an obvious rationalization for his compulsion to respond to everyone. In the last 6 years, he had not managed to go any substantial period of time without arguing with people online. Patrick was banned from Twitter and continued arguing on his cat's account. Despite his daily encouragement, he insists he was selected completely at random. His insistence on responding to everyone also encourages real harassment from bad actors because it's guaranteed to get a strong public reaction out of him. These habits pushed most of his friends away. Anyone who advised him to stop responding to trolls online was treated as an enemy and replaced with new friends who would support his behavior. We call them sycophants. He also had a tendency to brag about his publishing deals online to win arguments. This behavior likely scared off any remaining publishers, and to this day he is trying to get his Christmas slasher Tiny Tim book published. I feel sorry for his agent. After his initial book deal, Patrick's reputation in his industry just kept getting worse. He'd get drunk and belligerent at conventions, people would talk about him behind his back, the spaghetti incident, and he is currently banned from Penguin Con, which is a science fiction convention that he used to sell his books. He blew tens of thousands of dollars from the Science Fiction Writers Associations trying to sue the owner of a forum. He lost, and had to personally pay over $50,000 in legal fees to the victim of his frivolous lawsuit. At this moment, he is currently in a bitter feud with some woman running a publishing company and threatening to sue her for libel. He's also suing his police department for reasons we'll get into later. This guy knows how to make enemies. As an author, Patrick Tomlinson is no longer publishable. His early book deals lost money, he's pushed away his old author friends, and I personally believe he's been blacklisted from the entire industry. Worst of all, I have it on good authority that his books are terrible. I tried to read the arc to confirm, but I couldn't. I really tried. You'll have to trust the German. The sports bit is just fucking... So sure, he lost his job, but he does have something that no one else does. His homemade Adirondack chair. Now, this is just one small story in Pat's life, but it's one of my favorites. It started with an idea and a dirty pallet. Patrick broke the pallet down and removed the nails, sanded it down, stained the wood, and had his brand new Adirondack chairs.
Why doesn't mine look like that? Why must life be so hard?
I don't know how you're meant to sit in these things. The edges are sharp, it's probably carcinogenic, and the back reaches all the way to the ground. But that wasn't the point. These were chairs that Patrick had made by himself out of recycled wood, and he would enjoy them. And they're allegedly quite comfortable. It was a month well spent, but his love for the chairs would soon be tested. Patrick returned home from a concert with his wife and discovered both had disappeared. He mounted a quick response, searching for the culprit online. Within a few hours, he found it. Someone put up a Craigslist ad offering them for free. The ad stated, "As I prepare to downsize, they simply won't fit in my new place. No need to ask me, just come and take them off my hands, please." Strangely, he seemed most offended at the implication that he was downsizing in the original ad. Now, knowing the culprit was part of an international cyber cult of online stalkers, Pat called the police and told them to be on the lookout for his two Adirondack chairs. As a counterpoint, he made his own Craigslist ad requesting that they be returned. He also posted on Facebook in case someone there had seen or heard something of the chairs. He spent nearly every waking minute seeking the safe return of his precious chairs. Did I mention he has a teenage daughter who hasn't seen him in 10 years? He dedicated the Ark to her. More listings went up giving away garbage on his front lawn. Take my chairs, take my barbecue, take my fire bricks. Patrick wrote a counter-offer that probably came off as schizophrenic to anyone lucky enough to come across it. This ad was written by the same clinically obsessed criminal cyberstalker responsible for getting our Adirondack chairs stolen last week. This matter has already been turned over to law enforcement as part of a much larger criminal investigation. Do not take our bricks. A user from Reddit posted an interaction with Patrick, where he claimed to have the pallet chairs and wanted to return them. They started arguing over whose job it was to move the chairs back to the hovel. Once Pat realized the exchange was a joke, he politely ended the conversation. Days passed with no updates until the chairs were spotted in his backyard. With the love and adoration that only a father can show, Patrick announced that he was reunited with his chairs, and he was given an apology letter for the trouble. His chairs were then stolen by Habitat for Humanity, who immediately returned them for being pieces of shit. And then they left 2 more copies of the Ark. However, Pat was now wise to these tricks. He intercepted and eliminated the Salvation Navy truck that had come by to steal his other, better chairs. This marked the end of the chair saga and yet another victory for Patrick Tomlinson.
Now this might strike some viewers as harsh, but I believe everyone involved in this story should die.